Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Gobind and this is your channel for grace. Please remember to subscribe, hit that notification bell to get notified of when I go live and when I upload videos. And also make sure to give this video a thumbs up. We are going to talk about the Virgo new moon astrology in this video. I'm going to go over the astrology. I'm also going to tell you where this moon is happening in your chart and what that means for you. If you have not yet downloaded my free moon astrology guide, please do so. There is a link in the description to do that. Also check out our podcast, Channel for Grace Uncut podcast, and officially announced Module 4 of the Aquarian Astrology course is now available. Module 4 focuses all on the planet Mercury and what Mercury represents in astrology. He's actually the messenger of the gods and one of my favorite planets to talk about and explore. We will talk about this aspect of Mercury and also Mercury in the 12 signs, in the 12 houses, what happens when Mercury goes retrograde in a specific sign, and what does it mean when you have a planet that's retrograde or this specific planet retrograde in your chart. All of these things we will cover in this module. I'm really excited to announce that as well. And thank you guys so much for watching. Let us go right into this astrology video. Alright, let's talk about this moon in Virgo. It's a new moon, so new moons are about setting intentions. You should start, right away thinking about what intentions do you want to set. As I go deeper into the description of this moon and what it means and what it represents and how it's going to affect us energetically, emotionally, all those kind of things, start thinking about what it is you want to create, what it is you want to set intentions about for this next moon cycle, which literally begins tomorrow with the new moon in Virgo. The other thing I wanted to share is a little example or a little story from my life, because as we've seen Mars go retrograde, I've been talking about how basically this Mars retrograde is going to start to slow things down for us. It's going to create this energy where everything feels like it takes a little bit more work to do the normal stuff that you would normally do. And this is such a perfect example for me right now, what's happening with me right now. I am not home, so I don't have access to the studio. The air quality in Portland is just horrible. It's like the worst air quality in the world. So we are in Washington, Eastern Washington, in this beautiful place, staying at this really beautiful cabin. And it's amazing. And at the same time, I can't go live. So I have to find a way to pre-record these videos for you and put them out there because the new moon is here. And that's what this channel is all about. So that's the first thing that I notice about how Mercury, or not Mercury retrograde. If I said Mercury a minute ago, forgive me. Mars retrograde. So this is how Mars retrograde is affecting me. And I'm curious as to if you're experiencing the same thing, if you're going through some kind of things that feel like, okay, this is extra work for sure. For me, normally going live, you just click the button, go live, do the video, and then it's over and you're done, right? But this is different. I have to get the camera out and make sure the battery's charged and make sure the microphone's plugged in and it's turned on and make sure that there's a good spot to film and make sure that I have everything set up, everything's charged. I'm outside filming. I'm not inside. Nothing's plugged in. You know what I mean? So it's a lot more stuff to think about. How am I going to switch from this kind of screen to showing you the charts, and all that stuff. So I definitely feel the Mars retrograde, and that's a pretty big thing that's happening right now at the same time that we're having this new moon in Virgo. So I wanted to share that with you because this moon is going to give us a chance to, I feel very much ground down. Virgo is earth energy. And with the earth energy, it brings us down a little bit. It helps us to focus on what's right here in front of us. Virgo rules the 6th house, and the 6th house rules work. It rules our daily schedule, daily life, what we can control right here in front of us. It is also about focusing on the details, taking care of ourselves. The Virgo is also the hermit. card in the tarot. And so that hermit energy is the one that makes us want to retreat and go within. And sometimes as Virgo, if you have a lot of Virgo energy in your chart, I'm sure that there's been moments where you feel like you have to step away and take a moment to be with yourself. And you may feel that during this new moon. It's interesting because I'm having to film this video in a place that's like very, I'm here all alone. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm with my husband, but I'm here and we're, there's no one really around. And so it does feel very hermit-ish, which is so this new moon in Virgo. So how are you? I want to know if you can put in the comments. I want to know how you guys are experiencing this Mars retrograde and how you're feeling this new moon kind of coming up. The moon in Virgo wants to analyze everything. It wants to look at the details. It wants to perfect things. Virgo also doesn't really like to get involved with things that don't make sense. So Virgo can feel very much uncomfortable in certain situations. And also, if they can't kind of control what's going on, I think most of the times the Virgo energy will want to leave the room, will want to escape, will want to get away from it all. And all of these energies we're going to be feeling with this new moon that is coming up. Also, because new moons are about setting intentions, this new moon is about, it's about getting organized. Because Virgo is that organized kind of energy, becoming efficient and practical without becoming too critical or too worrisome. Because the Virgo energy can get too critical, too judgmental, too worrisome, too stressed out, too anxious. So we have to find a balance. We have to find like the grounding aspect of the Virgo energy. And this moon is ruled by Mercury, which is actually right now in the sign of Libra, bringing more balance to our thought processes. Mercury in Libra is all about cooperation and avoiding conflict, avoiding confrontation, and seeing the value in both sides of any question. And this moon being ruled by Mercury, this is about communication. Mercury rules communication. Mercury is the messenger of the gods. Module 4, like I just mentioned, is all about the planet Mercury and why is he the messenger of the gods? Why is he the one that is able to kind of carry the messages? Well, he moves really fast. He's the fastest planet. He's the closest to the sun, right? He's the closest to God, or the sun that is ruled by Leo, which represents the king. And so if you think about in the ancient times of kingdoms and kingships and kings and queens, Mercury was their messenger. Mercury was the messenger. And so this planet is a trusted planet because it's something that's close to you, but it's also communication that needs to happen. But it needs to happen in the realm of that Virgo rules, which is right here, right now. This is your daily schedule. Like, what are you having for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Like, are you going to work out today? Like, are you going to take a shower? Are you going to take a bath? What are you going to wear? You know what I mean? Like, are you going to hang out with somebody? Are you going to spend the day alone? How did you plan your day? Are you going to do some organizing? I mean, these are things that are right here in front of you that you have control over. And that the communication that needs to happen is between you and obviously the people around you, because this is the realm of here. But it can also be obviously the realm of work. And so when you're at work, the same kind of energy will affect you. So organization, trying to find, balance, not becoming too critical, not becoming too judgmental. All of these things are important things to remember as we enter into this sort of new phase of the moon. And remember that the cycle of the moon always begins with the new moon. The new moon is day 1. And then from that day, every day after is like, it counts as day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. It's like that. So it is basically the beginning of a new cycle, the beginning of a new journey. And I think this Virgo energy also, because the moon is going to be, whoa, I'm not that good with bugs. They freak me out. Okay, so what was I saying? I was saying that because this Virgo new moon is happening at 25 degrees, which is pretty late in the degrees of Virgo. Normally we would have this moon happening at the beginning of like when the sun moves into Virgo. But now the sun is already going to be at 25 degrees of Virgo. And that is way different than the sun at the early degrees of Virgo. Like this is the third decan. It's like the, you know, it's 0 to 10 degrees, I believe, or to 9 degrees, and then 10 to 20, 20 to 30, that kind of thing. So I don't know the exact split, but I just know there's 3 decans, and this is already in the third, like well into the third decan. The sun is almost out of Virgo and into Libra, which is, it's not just any transition, it is actually switching seasons. It is going from the summer into the fall, and the fall equinox is literally next week. So this is a very dense energy. It's a dense Virgo energy. At the later degrees of any sign, that energy has its shit together a little bit better. So we have an opportunity here to really hunker down and really feel into how this is affecting us, what's coming up, what do we want to express, but do it in that way where like in the area of our life where we are in control over. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to show you the charts, and I'm going to switch screens, and we'll talk about the Sabian symbol of this moon, which is 25 degrees of Virgo. We'll also talk about the Chandra symbol. We'll talk about all the major aspects that the moon is making and the other aspects that are going on, or the other conversations that are going on between the planets in the actual chart. And we will finish the video with me telling you exactly where this moon is happening in your chart. So let's go ahead and get into that. All right, so here we have the actual chart, and the new moon is found right here at 25 degrees of Virgo. Now, the things that I wanted to cover right away is the Sabian symbol and the Chandra symbol. So the Sabian symbol for 25 degrees of Virgo is volunteer soldiers armed with pikes attack a line of enemy tanks and are systematically mown down. Recognizing the insanity of their situation, many combatants leave the field. So this is about picking one's way through life's craziness without getting embroiled in other people's negative scenes. This is disengaging oneself from destructive things. This is the ability to maintain complete focus, and even in the midst of chaos. This is mindlessly forging ahead versus remaining morally alert and ready to change course. And the other symbol I wanted to share with you is the Chandra symbol, which is actually really cool. This is from a book called Inside Degrees by Elias Lonsdale. And this is what the Chandra symbol for 25 degrees of Virgo is. It is a gold ring in the form of a snake swallowing its tail. So this is about knowing who you are with your own higher self there standing above you. This is about, this is showing you the way. This is impressing the mark of advanced selfhood upon everything in sight. You are clear as a bell that you must hold true to your nature. This life's journey is sensed in a true biography, a story for the ages, which completes itself and comes back to the beginning at the next octave. Knowing beyond knowing the nature of the quest, and being especially aware of of each little step to pass this on. It is a delicate matter to know this much. Many who attain to this point will employ their conscious mind over all this up and regenerate a busy outer facade. However, the substantive attunement to the mysteries cannot be missed by any angel, and suggests that this is a culminating and a consummate way of being which speaks from the vital center and is there beyond all attempts to throw it off. So this is like a deep, like inner knowing of who we are, and this moon is bringing this up for us. There are certain aspects that this moon is making to the other planets. And the first one, which is it's the most important because this is an exact trine, is the trine to Saturn at exactly 25 degrees. So what does Saturn do? There is a sobering effect on this moon with this trine to Saturn. A trine is a removal of any obstacles that makes things happen seamlessly with no interruptions. Saturn teaches us to become responsible, and this trine will make it so that the process happens more quickly. We may be faced with a situation that asks us to be mature and deal with it like an adult. This might be exactly what you need, or it may catch you off guard. It may feel good, or it may feel like it is being imposed on you. But either way, we are learning many lessons with this new moon. The moon also, which is really the moon and the sun together, because that's what a new moon is a conjunction. They are squaring the nodes, and it's almost exact, it's just 1 degree away. The nodes are at 24 degrees, and the moon and the sun are 25 degrees. So this isn't it though, because there's also an opposition to Neptune, and Neptune is at the same time also squaring the nodes. So this creates a grand square. This shaded area is what we call a grand square. Now this grand square is happening on this day, is making it so that there are some people that are getting lost in dreams. Dreams are that like, but it's more than just dreams, it's like a fog, while others are having to deal with reality. This is an uncomfortable aspect that will challenge us to see reality for what it is and focus more on how we can remove the fog or the veil from in front of our eyes that is preventing us from seeing the truth. If we have a good grip on reality, this does not affect us as much. But if we don't have a good grip on reality, we will get lost in sort of the wilderness that is the world of Neptune, the subconscious mind. And luckily, Saturn is helping us to see things more clearly. There is also, this moon is making a quincunx to Mars. So there's the moon, there's the quincunx, and there's Mars. So remember, Mars is retrograde. And this quincunx is about us moving into a new situation or bringing in change so that we let go, or so that we have to act to resolve what comes up. Remember that Mars will be making a square to Saturn and Pluto soon, bringing in more conflict, more tension. With the quincunx, we're actually already kind of seeing the squares start to happen with Mars and Pluto and Jupiter. And these are multiple squares that happen throughout this 6-month period that Mars is in. And even beyond that, like a month beyond that, that Mars is in his transit with Aries, and then when he's in his transit into Taurus a little bit. But with the quincunx, we're being asked to let go of the need to be in control, or the need to keep fighting, and to trust what your intuition tells you about what is really going on in your life and where to put your drive and action. The moon is also making a semi-square right here to Venus. So this is the masculine and the feminine energies being activated by this moon. The semi-square to Venus is creating some kind of situation that is frustrating. The reason for this is because we need to learn how to be patient and to also persist in life. We can't push through this energy, or it will bring up a lot of frustration that would lead to nothing. Instead, we must learn to be patient and wait for the energy to settle before knowing where to move next. The tension between the moon, our emotions, and Venus, our relationships, or our desire to be the center of attention, because right now Venus is in Leo, those two things are in conflict. We want to have fun and be free to express ourselves, but somewhere deep down inside, we know that this is not really the right time for that. This really is the time to be responsible or be the mature. Right now, it's the time to do the mature thing. So instead of pushing through and just doing what you want, you have to sit and wait for a better time to express this energy. Of course, that's not going to feel good, but that's pretty much what we are seeing here. The next aspect that I wanted to talk about is Mercury and Jupiter. They are both at 17 degrees and they are in an exact square. So Mercury in Libra and Jupiter in Capricorn are creating this sort of optimism that comes from understanding the importance of having a balanced mind, understanding that when we are able to look at everyone's point of view without judgment, we can fully see the bigger picture. With Jupiter now direct, Jupiter did just now go direct, so we're able to find ways to move forward towards our goals, towards our ambitions, and Mercury is opening that door to helping us help us see that it is possible to find a middle way. Venus is not in exact square, but it is squaring closely 2 degrees away the planet Uranus. And remember, Uranus brings in a lot of unpredictability. This square is a challenge to our relationships because it brings up unexpected events that challenge the stability of them. If we express ourselves too much, will we get rejected? That's a question. If we try to have too much fun, will we get judged or scolded? If we focus too much on ourselves and what we want, will that hurt our relationships? These are the things we should be thinking about. Uranus brings in unpredictability, change, situations that you weren't expecting and you have to deal with, and the square brings in the challenge, something that you have no choice but to deal with it. It's going to come up, and I think this moon is going to bring this kind of energy up. Uranus also desires to be independent and on its own, and there's a revolutionary aspect to it, so it wants freedom. Uranus is all about freedom, and this will be activated during this new moon. We also have Venus trine Chiron, who is in Aries. There's a trine right over here, and let's remove these guys. But there's Chiron in Aries, and Venus is trining, and Chiron is the wounded healer. So whenever there's an aspect to Chiron, the aspect is all about healing. So Chiron brings up relationship wounds with this transit. It says the only way forward is through the healing path, and if we resist the healing, it will feel that much more aggressive and forced on us. The last, I believe this is the last, may not be, aspect is the what I just mentioned about Mars squaring Saturn and Pluto. Now this is not exact. Mars is at 27 degrees. It's going backwards, remember. Saturn is at 25. It's also going backwards. Pluto is also retrograde. Jupiter is the one that just went direct. However, when Mars reaches 25, when he goes back into 25 degrees, he's going to exactly square Saturn. But right now, because the moon, a new moon or a full moon is a moment in time that's really significant. It sort of paints the picture for, it's like the theme for the next month or so, 28.5-day cycle of the moon. This energy is present here, and we're going to feel it for months, this specific energy, these specific squares. Mars has been getting closer to his square to Saturn and Pluto during this new moon. And we will see it just 2 degrees away from being exact. This means that it will have a strong effect on us. The square is bringing up tension and challenges. Mars in Aries wants to push forward despite any obstacles, but Saturn in Capricorn is too strong for Mars retrograde. This means that things will feel like extra difficult to do, and our energy may feel like it has been taken away. Saturn brings in restrictions into our life that feel like we have no choice but to stop trying to push against the current and wait for a better time to do what is that we want to do. Now there is a trine happening here from Mars to the South Node. Mars trining the South Node makes us look at karmic lessons, things from our past, and we have to reflect on them because that's what a retrograde is all about. South Node in Sagittarius says that we feel more comfortable traveling, going on journeys, being independent, and going exploring the world of the unknown. But these are the things that are now also being restricted. So for Mars to trine this position, we are quickly realizing that we are not going to return to the way things were, to the way the world was before everything changed. In fact, this trine is bringing up the fact that right now, during this retrograde, we are stuck here with nothing else to do other than to be patient, reflect, process everything that has happened since Mars moved into Aries on June 27th, I believe, and begin to truly understand that it is by focusing on our everyday life, our daily schedule, the things that we can actually control, the Gemini North Node world, and this Virgo new moon energy, that we will get through this retrograde successfully. And the last energy that is, you know, presented here during this moon, which is actually a good thing, is we've got Jupiter making a sextile to Neptune. And that it's not exact yet. It's going to be exact in a little while. Once Jupiter reaches 19 degrees, we will see that exact, or I think it's at 18 degrees it'll happen because Neptune is actually going backwards. But it's very close. It's almost right here. It's just 2 degrees away. And this is actually a good, it brings in good feelings. Jupiter expands Neptune's ability to have compassion and for everyone, to have love for everyone, to express all these things out to the world. So that is the good positive aspect that is happening with this moon. But remember that all of these energies are basically working together in the chart, and they all are affecting us. So and depending on where, you know, what our sun, moon, and rising is, we will experience these energies, some of these more strongly than others. Some of us not that much at all, but I think we're all feeling sort of a mixture of all this stuff going on. Let's take a look at which house this moon is transiting in your chart based off of your sun, moon, and rising. For Aries, sun, moon, and rising, the moon is transiting the natural house of rulership of Virgo, which is the 6th house. So for you, the focus needs to be on everything that I mentioned in the video, almost like literally to a T for you. This is work, this is your daily life, your daily schedule, the things that you can control, what you have the ability to control in your life. Get organized, know where you stand. All of those things are very important, but you will feel this mostly in your literal environment at home. Also take care of your health. That's going to be really important for you. For Taurus, sun, moon, and rising, this new moon is happening in your 5th house of creativity. So for you, you're going to feel like getting organized in terms of your creativity. You're going to feel like focusing on the details in terms of the things that you're creating, the things that you're manifesting. This could also have to do with your children. This could have to do with like romantic relationships, but it's mostly about your creative abilities, your ability to manifest things into the world. So to have Virgo in this energy, naturally you are kind of organized in that way, or in that aspect. But right now it's very important that you know exactly where you stand in terms of your creative abilities. For Gemini, sun, moon, and rising, this new moon is happening in your 4th house of the home. So what does that mean for Gemini? It means that you got to get organized at home. And you're probably like, damn it. No, I'm just kidding. But you have to get organized at home. You have to give yourself the time and the space to feel good. Because if this is the things that you can control in your own environment, and your environment is this place of the home, and this moon is you're gonna be feeling it at home. If you're unorganized, if your stuff is all over the place, if you don't know what's going on, you're gonna feel like you're gonna have a kind of a rough go at it. So I would set intentions about what you want to see in your life in terms of home for you for the next like 28 days or so, because that is the cycle that's beginning. It's like a month-long cycle. So what is it that you want to manifest, and set those intentions and really feel grounded in your own space. For Cancer, sun, moon, and rising, this new moon is happening in your 3rd house of communication. So this is getting organized, getting clear about what you say to people, how you say it, what is going to be the effect. Virgo doesn't really mind saying the truth and doesn't really mind expressing itself. And so it's important for you to not feel restricted in your expression, but you have to make sure that you know where you come from. Where does the you needing to talk and say things and share things with the world, where is that really coming from? It needs to come from your core, your true center. For Leo, sun, moon, and rising, this new moon is transiting your 2nd house of finances and values. So the organization needs to happen in this area of your life. The focusing on the details needs to happen in this area of your life. There's going to be a sobering effect, remember, with the trine to Saturn. And this sobering effect is going to really bring things to reality in terms of your finances, the things that you actually value. So that's what you're going to be feeling an activation of. So get organized in this place. Like if you don't have what do they call it? You know, obviously you can tell I don't have it. If you don't have like a budgeting list and things like that, I'm just kidding. Oh my God, that was really funny. But if you're not organized in terms of finances, you might feel it might feel a little bit off, like things are kind of falling apart. You don't want that. You want to be secure in this area of your life. That's the whole point of this moon. For Virgo, sun, moon, and rising, this new moon is happening in your first house. So this is about your self-identity. This is stepping into your sense of self. So if you have, sun in Virgo, or even your Virgo rising, this is definitely in your first house for sure, 100% for Virgo rising. But for the sun and the moon, you might feel a connection to this message. And it really is about, who are you? Do you know who you are? Do you know where does your intuition, where does your thoughts, where does your personality, where does like your soul, where does all this stuff come from? And your way of connecting with that is important for you to discover right now. So set intentions about who you want to be, or how you want to, which parts of you that you really like about yourself, and those are the parts that you want to keep and you want to be strong in. And then get organized. You everything that's to do with you, like your appearance, your clothes, how you present yourself to the world, like your personality. Get organized about those things. That's going to be very important with this new moon. For Libra, sun, moon, and rising, this moon is transiting your 12th house of the subconscious mind, the mystical, the divine. What this means is that it's a beautiful activation of your intuition. It's an expansion of the dream world for you. It's the realm where things are hidden. So things might be coming up for you that you didn't know were there, and they're going to bring reality to things that seemed mysterious, are going to become more real, and you're going to be able to sort of see them for what they really are. And that's what this moon is going to do for you. So it's important that you remember to also, find that connection, or that grounding that really helps you to move forward in life without feeling like there's things. Sorry, I keep hearing noises behind me. I don't want to see any bears, If you see a bear behind me, say something. I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, because this moon is serious, Libra, this is, you are the relationship sign, and I feel like dreams are going to get activated. You might start to get really intense downloads, seeing the truth about things, seeing the reality of things, and that's the sobering part for you. So for Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising, this moon is transiting your 11th house of friends and also sharing your gifts with the world. So what does that mean for you, Scorpio? Well, you have to think about the networks of people. You have to think about the people that you choose to hang out with. You have to think about the people that you choose to put your energy into. And even if you are not able to be present with people right now, like in the same room, still there's, phone, texting, messaging, all that stuff. Like, who are you connecting with? What are these things who are these people, and are they the right vibe for you right now? Virgo tends to be very critical about that. So use that criticalness, that ability to organize yourself and know exactly what you want and what you will not tolerate, and clean up the mess. You know what I'm saying? Like, clean up the connections, clean up the friendships, make sure that it's all aligned with your higher self. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising. This moon is transiting your 10th house of career. So get organized about everything career. A lot of stuff fits under that umbrella. So it could be work that you have to do. It could be projects that you're embarking. It could be a business that you're doing. It's how you show up in the world, how people see you, and how people recognize you. So make sure that how you're showing up in the world is like pristine. Perfect. For Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising, this moon is transiting your 9th house of spiritual integration. So that means that this is a spiritual journey for you. You're discovering new things in life, and they're bringing you a lot of insight as to your belief systems, your faith, your sense of identity, of spiritual identity, the things that you value in terms of higher education and things like that. And so getting organized in that area of life. This also is the house that rules like publishing things and kind of getting yourself out there in the more of expressive kind of realm. It is ruled by, the ninth house is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is in Capricorn. So there's a focus here of like career and spiritual integration at the same time. So there's a merging of the two, like the divine with the more like earthly. And that is what I would recommend that you focus on, is if there's something that you're needing to get organized, whether it is, you know, your faith, your religion, your belief systems, putting yourself out there, communicating this out to the world, get organized about all those things in your life, because that is what you need to focus on right now. That is what will help you move forward and move into more success. For Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising, this moon is transiting your 8th house of death and change. So it's activating a letting go of something. You are releasing something, and the release is causing a lot of big shifting. It could be emotional shifting. It could be literal shifting, you know, your environment, your work environment. You could feel it affecting your work environment. You could feel it affecting your daily schedule, your daily life. You could see these things show up in your life in this way, but they are big changes that are happening so that you can make more space for something new. And for Pisces, sun, moon, and rising, this moon is transiting your 7th house of relationships. So for you, this is about getting organized in terms of your relationships. Like set schedules that make sense for you, but that also help the whole thing become this like beautiful expression of whatever it is that you really want from your relationships. And this has to do with, it can be like any kind of relationship. It could be a romantic or love partnership. It could be a business relationship. Whatever relationship is in your life needs to be looked at, to ask it, does it serve me? Am I being of service to it as well? Does it make sense? Do I enjoy this? Is this something that I could do every single day? Those are the questions that you need to be asking yourself, and set intentions for where do you want your relationships to go. And for everybody, make sure that you set intentions about what you want in that area of life that this moon is transiting in your chart. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you give it a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And I will see you guys again next time. Sat Nam.